Hi everyone. First of all, good evening everyone, and happy Independence Day. And this session will be talking more about how to get your first job as data scientist. Before that, I just want to clarify what are the expectation of this presentation. The expectation is um, freshers who are just passed out as a graduation, just completed engineering, and who are in second year or third year or final year of the engineering. All the people are like the perfect audience for this one. And if someone is already started the career, still they can check this. And I will be explaining what are the smart ways to do the job search that I will be explaining in the end of the session. So let's start. So before starting, right, maybe something was buzzing in your mind, right? Who is this guy saying about data science, and he's really trustworthy, or giving time to him is good enough for us. So for that, I just want to give some brief about myself. So I'm having like 6 years of experience into data science field, like half a decade for now. And I completed postgrad in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And in 2015, I have ranked the second rank in Python Codeville Challenge, which was happening in India. And in 2017, Udacity conducted one lead machine learning competition only for the people who already have exposure to machine learning. I have secured 10th rank over there. And also, apart from the job, I run like on data science portal. The intention is to get data science much closer to the beginners who are newbies. So every quarter we reach like 500,000 people are reading the content we generate from Data Aspirant. I also released my own publication, data mining with Python course with PAC Publication London, and I also written one fiction book, Lakshmi and Joseph in a Candlelight Drink, which was listed in Amazon as well. For this talk, let's say we are at the base level and we want to reach a top level. And these are the 6 steps I'm going to discuss. The base level is about data science field. Next, I'll be talking more about what is the preparation you need to take. The other thing is what kind of problems you need to solve. And the other one, how to build a portfolio. And next, I will be explaining about job search. Next, I will explain what are the things you need to do once you got the data science job. The first thing is data science application. Suppose someone was interested in data science field, there will be 2 to 3 reasons. One, you will get a high package compared to other jobs. And two, maybe you're more interested about the applications. Three, maybe you are fancy about the term scientist, maybe any of these reasons. Um, but but everyone who started at the middle of the journey, they feel it is very difficult, because once you start learning, the difficulty level increase, it will reach a skyrocket position, and then you will find very difficult. So then most of the people will give up data science field and they will opt for other jobs which were simpler. But if you uh, get enough and you continue, then the future will be very good for you. For that, I just want to give some glimpse of applications. So when you face this kind of situation, just remember these applications, so it will boost you or trigger you just to continue the next level. Also, next we'll discuss about what was the growth of this field. Then we'll be discussing more about what were the possible roles. For applications, main applications I want to focus here is healthcare. So a lot of things were happening in AI field when it comes to healthcare. One real situation, like for the current COVID situation, so to create any drug or anything, it has to be complete multiple layers. Then only we'll get the vaccine. But because of AI, there are creating different simulations to just to reduce the vaccine period, so we'll get vaccine any quicker way. And the other one, suppose someone was tested, someone has to be tested whether they are COVID positive or not. For that, it will take 1 or 2 days to check their samples which was collected, and they want to say whether he was positive or negative. It will take 1 or 2 days. But if you build models with AI, we'll take all the historical data who are diagnosed, who are positive or negative of COVID. We'll take all the historical data of the patients, and we can build models. Then just by saying the symptoms of the patient, we can accurately predict whether they will be getting COVID or not. It will help a lot in production of vaccines, also in reducing the time of determining someone will get COVID or not. Also in entertainment field, from the morning itself, we wake up, we'll be searching a lot in YouTube, Netflix, and all. Every time you're seeing some movie, Netflix and YouTube will try to understand about you, more personalization about you, and it will try to show the videos which will you like. Once you like, then only they will generate revenue. That's the way they want to try to understand who you are, what kind of music you want, what kind of language you prefer, whether you will prefer comedy or sci-fi. Those kind of all applications will be integral part of AI. And social networks, in from social network, from LinkedIn, Facebook, suppose you can see like uh, some friends are there suggesting, maybe you don't know them, but they're suggested. How they suggested, they're trying to identify similar users like you, like the pages you like, or the comments you're making, the videos you see. Based on that, they will try to recommend people who are much closer to you. Coming for applications of business, each business nowadays trying to understand their customers, what their customers like, what they dislike. Using those factors, they want to increase the growth of their business. So if you take any organization, they are using ML to increase their revenue. I don't need to mention about AI. Even the 11-year kid know what were the advantages robots can do for human. And there is a decent amount of AI was applied in space research. Why? Because you cannot take a rocket to the moon or any Mars all the time, because the cost wise it's very high. But if you create simulations of that, you can test what are the things you want to test. Like you have some missions which was used in rockets, whether what was the sustainability of that material, whether it will sustain for let's say 6000 degrees temperature. So these kind of simulations can be taken care here. Then it will be very useful for them to directly take the rocket to the Mars or moon. The next thing about the growth, suppose for any career, growth is the mandatory thing. Let's say if you go back history, there is so many popular jobs, but nowadays those jobs are not existed. Their saturation period was already completed. Let's say in history, when you call someone, there is a operator called phone operators. They will basically what we call, they will connect your phone to the other person, like with voice. At that time it was a very fancy job, and we won't expect people can do that. Now, because of everything was happening in the satellite level, those jobs are already vanished. You can also take like telegram. Previously telegram was used for instant messaging and very important emergency messages. If you want to send to someone, people are using telegram. But now the telegram is not even there. And for this growth wise, it was expected for next 2 years there will be 2.9 million data science jobs. And the best thing is about, there is no skilled people available for that. There are 100% of jobs, and the skilled people were only available like 30 to 40%. So we have a possibility of 60% you can fall. If you learn these skills, you will get jobs in a much easier way. And growth wise, from the last 3 years, every year the data science jobs increasing. On an average, 28% jobs were there. Next, let's discuss more about the possible roles. When someone say data science, it's not only about data scientists. There are equal number of positions or responsibilities are there. If you're working in a bigger organization, all the multiple data science teams will work together to solve a problem. Like data engineers, role is to collect data from different sources and giving them in a structured way to the data science people so they can build models. The data analysts or business analysts, what they will do, they will try to get insights from the models we already built, means data scientists, and they will try to showcase those things. What are the revenue we can generate, what are the target customers we can target. Those kind of insights can be taken care by business analysts. Data analyst is more or similar to the data scientist, but the level of work they will be doing like a minor compared to the lower range compared to the data scientist. And there is job for visualizers also. So continuous reporting and understanding in which region customers are coming, what were the reasons, that visualizers will be seeing visuals and they will be identifying that. For that you need to learn visualization tools like Tableau and some other things, Power BI, these kind of things. Also, some high-end tech companies are spending a lot of time and money on research development for building new models or using the existing models to fine-tune them, to reduce the memory, or to build models in a smaller devices like our mobiles. A lot of research was going on. Suppose if you have skill set, you can work as a researcher as well. The next thing is, by now we know like what are the things you need to different applications that data science is already doing, and by now we can move to the how to prepare for this one. To prepare this, I want to propose three C's. One is the cost, how much money you need to spend to learn data science. The other one, what concepts you need to learn. The last one, what are the coding things you need to know. So if you have decent money, you can spend the money which was pop up here. But if you're smart enough, you can nearly spend zero to get more skills in data science. So what are the list of topics we have? Like these are the four main categories. Everyone has to be very confident. The first thing is coding. I'll explain what programming language we need to look. The other one is databases, and everyone has to know what some basics of statistics, and they will need to learn machine learning algorithms and deep learning algorithms. For coding, you can pick Python or R. There is a debate was happening like whether you need to choose Python or R, whether Python is more popular than R. But still, I will explain which language we need to choose. From the database perspective, you need to learn MySQL and NoSQL. For MySQL people, we already learn in our curriculum MySQL databases and all. When it comes to NoSQL, you can try out like MongoDB or like Cassandra, anything. Pick any one thing. Don't try to grab many tools. Try to learn minimal things, but be best in that. Coming to statistics, what are the data was already there, everything will be represented in a matrix form. So all the matrix operations you need to aware of that. For that, you just need to brush up your basic algebra skills and also probabilities. When it's come to statistics, before building any model, you need to understand the data, whether it is worthy enough to build models on that, or whether how accurate the data is. For that, descriptive statistics and inferential statistics will helpful. I won't be going deep into the algorithms. I will show you what are the learning path. In that, everyone will explain like what are the concepts you need to learn in them. And the other one is machine learning. In machine learning, as a fresher, you just need to focus supervised and unsupervised. Forget about reinforcement learning. If you have some time or anything, then you can focus. But my suggestion, you just focus more on supervised learning algorithms. There will be some popular algorithms in supervised learning. You just need to focus them. No need to worry about reinforcement learning or unsupervised learning. And deep also you need to learn some few things about deep learning, basic neural networks, and how convolutional neural networks work. You can take any application and build one layer using deep learning. The main advantage of deep learning, because so nowadays the data won't be in numbers. If any data was in numbers, you can apply machine learning, but we are getting data in text form. We are chatting and we are sending messages, we are tweeting, and we're capturing images. To get some insights from these kind of categories, we use deep learning. If the data is already in number forms, we'll go with machine learning algorithms. And the next thing is about whether you need to choose Python or R. So if you already know Python, you can go with Python. No need to spend time on learning R. If you already know R, just build all the models in R. Don't focus on Python. But if you're a newbie and you haven't done anything, I would suggest to go with Python. By now we know what are the things we need to learn, like what programming language you need to learn, what database you need to learn, and we know what are the algorithms you need to focus. Instead of focusing multiple algorithms, you need to narrow down, and you know what for algorithms you need to focus. Now the time is to test your knowledge on real world problems. As a fresher, you don't get feasible to solve problems in organization level companies and all. You won't get data, you don't have like high computation power. Still, you can test your knowledge on multiple sources like online competitions. You can follow different webinars to learn how big organizations are solving real world problems. And at the end, to keep some projects in your resume, you need to do 1 or 2 impressive projects, and you don't need to do 10 or 20 bulk of unimpression projects. Just pick 1 or 2. It has to be very excited when you are explaining to someone. Okay. Yeah. Coming for online competitions, you can prefer Kaggle. In Kaggle, suppose someone who already know data science, they already aware of Kaggle, but the people who don't know, I'm just giving a brief about that. Kaggle is a competition platform. There every company will release their data, and they want whole world to compete and give the best model for them. Let's say Netflix is already there. A decade back, Netflix has released all their users data, and they're asked like build a best recommendation engine, and you will get money off for that also. And different companies are now opening their data to everyone, and they're trying to get the best model. For that you can use Kaggle. In Kaggle you'll get a time like 3 to 4 months to build your model. You can try out all your iterations or all your hypothesis, everything, to get the best model. And you can take Mission Hack. Mission Hack is dedicated for the beginners. The problem level or like complexity level will be very low compared to the other sources, so the beginners can try this one. And the other one, HackerEarth. In HackerEarth, sometimes like some companies will offer what we call hacker rank coding things. If you solve, they will directly hire you as a one of the member in their core team. Data Hack Analytics also you can try out. So when from online competition, at the beginning it will be very hard. You don't know what was the process. You will get the data and there will be leaderboard. You don't know how to increase your score. For that, already check existing already completed competitions. Go through the code, learn all the codes. You don't, even you're copying the complete thing, don't worry. Just try to iterate that things. At that some time, you know, like given any problem, what are the steps you need to do, like what kind of data pre-processing you need to do, what is the ways to identify best models, given a data, what models you need to use. All these will be won't learn by just by the booking things, bookish knowledge. You need to iterate them. That's why just take completed competitions, go through the solutions. Everyone will, once the competition is ended, Kaggle will release the solutions. So just go through the solutions and iterate them, and you can apply the knowledge in multiple different competitions, or you can follow in the same competition as well. The other one is webinars or YouTube channels. I have listed some popular YouTube channels here. You can focus here. Uh, PyCon, it will happen in every year. They will release different new technologies and new inventions, new projects. All these things will be explained in PyCon. In Kaggle, once the Kaggle was acquired by Google, what they done is they created one YouTube channel, and they're trying to explain all the problems and how to handle different data, and what are the best models, what are the latest technologies. They will explain everything in Kaggle. And there is another channel called TensorFlow. It is related to Google. There they will teach more about how to use TensorFlow for deep learning applications and also for natural language processing. If you follow the guide, there will step by step. You just need to take each video course. It will be like 5 to 10 minutes. Few will be 20 minutes. But if you listen carefully, you can, by the end of that course, you can build your own applications, or you can apply TensorFlow models on any data. And below three are like Abhishek and Rachel Thompson. He's the founder of Fast AI, and Siraj. These people will explain like latest things in more mathematical way and with applications. Before watching these guys, it's best to brush up all the things, or else you won't these things like very difficult for you. So the best thing is try to learn all the algorithms, and watch Kaggle and TensorFlow videos, so you'll get handy of these technologies, deep learning and all. Then you can watch Abhishek, Rachel, and Siraj videos. For building exciting projects, you can check Deep AI and Papers with Code. In Papers with Code, they will release research papers. You can read research papers, and they will say like how to implement, just by reading research papers, how to implement projects. That you can learn from Papers with Code. Okay, so yeah, by now we know what skills you need to brush up, and how to apply your knowledge in real world applications or problem. The next thing is portfolio building. This is the main aspects in data scientist field or data science field.
Why? Because if you don't have an amazing portfolio, you're just like aim something in a darker room, just hitting something in a darker room. You will hit, you don't, sometimes you can hit, sometimes you won't. The bad thing about this is you don't know what was the reason for that. That's so portfolio building is the best thing, and you need to, everyone has to do that. For that, uh, all the beginners who are doing some projects, try to share those projects to online, like multiple sources. I'll explain where to share. Also write articles of your learnings. Maybe don't worry about others. What are the things you learn, just share to others. And the other one, you have to, you need best connections. Someone will say like, a good network is a good wealth for you. So try to get as many as connections which were related to data science. Maybe now you're not able to go outside, but some meetups will happen in Bangalore, Hyderabad locations. Try to join those meetups and try to get contact with people. So yeah, for sharing your projects, you can prefer GitHub. In README, clearly explain like what are the steps you need to go through for completing this project, how to run and everything. Don't just keep code and share. In README, specifically mention how to run these files and how you done the analysis, what analysis you have done, and all. You can share these things in LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want. What happens is sometimes instead of you are going for opportunities, if you share all your learnings to the world of online, opportunities will come to you directly. You don't expect from different sources. In my case, I haven't got job because of my skills and all. I have written so many answers in Quora when I was in college. Someone from Kerala has seen those answers, and they directly conducted one online exam for me and some technical interview, and I got a job. That's why we don't know how we'll get. That's why always try to share your knowledge. And the other one, you can write articles of your learning. Let's say you learn some algorithm like classification, in classification, random forest or decision algorithm. uh, when you when you write, then you know what are the each steps you will be addressing, like why. That's a way of learning also, instead of blindly by hearting or something. When you write, you learn a lot. That's why I always prefer to write whatever you learn. You can choose your own blog, or else you can go with Medium or LinkedIn, or else you can join popular blogs, and you can see like join us or contribute. You can directly send your articles to them. They are very happy to publish. If anyone interested, you can send details to my blog as well. You can find join us there. And the other one is connections. For connections, right, always use LinkedIn as a primary source. Don't send any invitations in Facebook, Twitter, or any other way. Try always use LinkedIn. If always try to get as many as connections for data scientists. If you directly blindly send invitation to anyone or a request, they won't accept. First of all, just see their work, appreciate their work. Like whenever they share something, if it is worthy, then say thanks or something. And after some time, just send a request, so they know like this guy was already appreciated me. They will approve you. They will accept you as in their connections. And always try to find online webinars or meetups anywhere, whoever is giving their sessions. Just try to email them, or like say how the what we call session was worth for them, and what are the skills you have learned from them. And then if you send a request, they will accept you. So the main thing is always try to get connections from LinkedIn. By the time you already aware of all the skills and you are ready for job, try to send requests for HRs also. This will helpful in your job search. And yeah, the next thing is smart job search. So by now we know what are the skills we need to learn. We already implemented them in real world scenario. We already have stunning portfolio. The next thing is hunting jobs. So when it comes to job, don't throw your resume to all companies. Why? Because not only you, everyone is doing the same thing. You have to separate yourself from the crowd. So what I will suggest, like when you're writing resume, I will explain you what are the best ways to create resume, and I'll explain like how to what we call select companies when you're applying, and what are the salary expectations you should have. And yeah, for resume preparation, always create one template. It has to be 1 or 2 pages, not more than that. And create one email template. In the template, write all the skills you have. Don't mention like Titanic, sentiment analysis of Twitter, these kind of minute projects. It was already saturated. When I was started in 2013-14, these are the projects, good projects at that time. Already half a decade was already completed. If you mention like Titanic or I have done sentiment analysis in your project, straight away they won't consider your resume. That's why create a template, but mention all the things you have written, or what are the things you have learned. Create all the links of your social networks like a GitHub where you have published your codes, and what are the skills you have. And before applying any companies, try to read their job description. Let's say in their job description, for as a fresher you can target like 1 year 2 years experience jobs also. But before that, what you need to do is go through their job description. Suppose their job description is saying like they need someone who need experience in NoSQL. So in your resume, in top skills, just mention that NoSQL directly. Suppose in the job description they're saying like they want someone who done some analytics on text, natural language processing. If you done anything similar to natural language processing, highlight that in the first project. If you haven't done, take some time and do something on natural language processing and apply that. In job description, you see like classification algorithms like random forest, logistic regression, any other things. So only just only highlight those in your resume. So always you need to have a template based on the job. You need to fill those things and you need to send an email. Suppose you are sending email to the HR, just mention what are the skill set they need, and in your mail just mention like I know SQL and I have worked in random forest algorithms and I know like model pipelines and all. If you're sending resume to the higher level position, you can explain about your projects in 2 to 3 lines in mail. This will create a good impression on your resume. Also in your resume, always try to mention links. Suppose if you written some answers in Quora, give those answers which were popular. Suppose you shared your GitHub link somewhere, try to give those links, and try to give as many as links as possible. Suppose if you do some certification different platforms, create a screenshot of that and keep them in Google Drive or Box or anywhere, and create one shareable link and keep those links in that. What this happens is this will give the trustworthiness of you. Unfortunately, when you send resumes, some thousands of people are sending resumes, so there is no human people are checking those. There is smart applications which will extract resumes based on keywords. That's why just read the description. In our case, keywords are nothing but those skills algorithms they have mentioned. If you mention same things in your resume, automatically your resume will be highlighted and it will be detected by the systems. Then someone who has seen your resume, if they see like links and all everything, they know right as a fresher he done many of the things. That's the one advantage. You can try 1 year or 2 years experience. You can just mention like even though I'm fresher, I'm having all the experience you have mentioned in your job description. That you need to clearly mention in mail. The other thing is selecting companies. As a fresher, you always need to focus on startups. Suppose if you ask anyone, you will suppose if you ask any elder or anyone, they will say like what is the best thing to select to go, whether it is startup or MNC. They will suggest always startup. If someone is saying like MNC, they have some grudge on you. Don't believe them anymore. And the other thing, before applying any companies, when I say startup, don't blindly apply for all the startups. So many startups will fail. So it is not a good thing to go for startups. Before applying startups, just try to research on those companies from how many years they were there, what kind of applications are they doing, or those applications will be go for next 1 or 2 years, or they will be saturated. If they're saturated, don't apply for them. And if you find some startups who are providing only for the servicing to different companies, don't go with that. Always select product companies. Also do some research on the companies, and always prefer 2 to 3 years or one more than 2 years companies only. If it's the initial phase, don't go with that. And yeah, coming for the salary expectations, as a beginner in data science field, you will get very less salary compared to the other MNCs. Maybe if you join any MNC, you can get like 3 lakh annum or 4.5 lakh annum. But as a data science field, the freshest job will get very less salary compared to the others. But if you identify the potential company or potential startup, it will be helpful for you. Always try to focus on learning part in the first 1 or 2 years. Suppose in my case, when I started, I was joined for very less salary. Let's say my salary was X. In this 6.5 years, my salary is 14 times X. It's not easy for any other things, but in data science field, you can do that. X from X to 14.X in 6.5 years. So always try to focus on startups in earlier stage, but don't blindly apply for startups. Do some research and all. Now, once you got the job, what are the things you need to do? Once you got the job, you always need to brush up your skills. What happens in data science field is every time the new frameworks, let's say you build some application with X, after 1 year, there is a better version for X. So you need to learn those things all the time. Also, by the time you are doing your job, you will have some money. So this is the time to do the certifications, which will enhance your career, like getting higher positions, or like once you have experience, you can see in job portals like they need masters, PhDs, those things, or else they will seek like 6 years of experience or post grad. Both are equal. So it's better at the time try to spend some money on certifications. When you're fresher, don't need to spend money on anywhere. Also try to help others who are into data science field. The next thing about free resource I have mentioned, right? Yeah, these are the free resource, everyone can have a look. For coding, you can go with Harvard Python course, which is completely free. All the things I have mentioned here are completely free. You can take Coursera Python course, Python for anybody. Suppose you want to do certification, they will ask some money like $30 or something for certification, but for learning, it's completely free. Suppose for RGKT students, everyone know Python in their engineering or something at that time. But you want to brush up, you can go with Udacity Python course. It will be, you will get like 2 to 3 minutes of videos. In 1 or 2 hours, you can brush up all your Python learning skills. And the same way for R also, in Harvard itself, you will find one R course. In edX also there is R programming, free one. For a database, if you want to learn SQL, this is the website mo.com SQL tutorials, where you can write your queries and you can see output as well. So they will give you some problems and they will ask you to solve them in SQL, that you can do. And the other one is a YouTube course, 4 hours course on Free Code Camp. They're providing free, that you can learn for SQL. The other one for NoSQL, you can directly read the documentations of MongoDB or Cassandra, or else you can go for Guru 99. Okay. The other one, servers. So as a fresher, when the systems will be having like 4 GB RAM or 2 GB. So on those systems, it's very hard to build models. And sometimes someone will have like Windows, some people are having Linux systems. It is very difficult, right? For that, you can use free resource like Google has given Colab. It's free resource. Suppose you want to build GPUs, you can freely enable small icon kind of thing and you can build GPUs models. And Kaggle also providing their notebooks, all the things you can do in Kaggle notebooks as well. And Amazon AWS also giving 1 year free subscription. So you can use all the Amazon services for 1 year for free. I think even you have like low configuration systems, always try to use online these Colab or Kaggle notebooks. These will help you to build models in a faster way. If you build models and if you run in 4 GB RAM, right, it will take a lot of time to get the results. Or else the best thing is create one accounts in these platforms and do all your prototyping, testing and everything in the servers itself. Yeah, someone asked like what are the free courses, algorithms and all. These are the free resources: Coursera, Udacity, edX, fastai.com, where you will get all the video courses, means level by level. I have mentioned like supervised algorithm, unsupervised learning, reinforcement, right? They will explain like in each category what algorithms you need to learn, and they will explain like how to implement them with the real world problems. Those things you can learn from these courses. You just Google Coursera or Udacity, join for free, and you'll find different courses. If you want certification, you need to pay, or else these are completely free. For projects and research, you can go with Papers with Code and Deep.ai. These are some famous blogs towards data scientist, machine learning, analytics, Vidya. You can refer my blog, Data Sprint also. For the people who are more interested into images and vision, they can go with PyImageSearch. Yeah, the last one is like progress is more important than perfection. Suppose the people who are in data science field, they can relate this, means the people who are learning. What happens is sometimes you try a number of things, but your accuracy of the model won't increase. So don't drop there itself. The more important thing is how many times you have iterated. Don't always try for the perfection. Even it is not perfect, try to improve day by day. So always remember, when you're frustrated by the model is not giving decent amount of accuracy or anything, always try to iterate once again with new set of rules or new set of ideas. Don't always prefer for perfection. Also, as a fresher, the companies won't expect you to build a rocket science or NASA kind of programmers. They will try how much effort you are given and what kind of algorithms you are tried with the limited amount of knowledge you have. Yeah, so I will be open for questions for now, but these are the 4 questions I got from different people who are freshers. So, is data structures and algorithms are needed for data science field or not? Uh, Not needed necessarily, but when you're building complete pipeline, the data structures, skills, algorithms will helpful in writing production level code. Even you don't know data structures, it's fine. But once you have experience, these skills are required for getting new jobs. The first level is like you need to crack data structures text. For that, you just need to brush up 1 or 2 months. That's fine. But as a fresher, it's okay even you don't know the data structures. And as our master's mandatory for data scientist, no. But for higher positions, some organizations will only consider a master's and PhD. But instead of focusing higher, means those organizations, you can go with other organizations where need experienced people. For masters now, you need to pay a lot of money, like 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. That's why. And how to choose or select specific domain. So, as a fresher, don't narrow your knowledge for one particular domain like finance, health, retail, e-commerce. Always try to learn algorithms in all categories. Means where just learn algorithms which can apply for all the domains. But once you join an organization based on your interest or based on the organization, suppose your organization is only focusing on finance, you can focus on only finance domain. As a fresher, don't narrow your learning for one specific domain. So the next question is, what is the hiring process for data science or interns? The process will be very simpler. First, you need to create that stunning resume. Also, keep in mind, just read the job description, mention everything in your resume. Once your resume is shortlisted, there will be one technical interview. They will ask like what are the different kind of algorithms, and they will give you one problem, one case study, and they will ask like which algorithm you will be using. And once you crack that round, they will be giving you one data sets, and they will give 1 week or 2 weeks time to build a model. The intention is not to get high accuracy. The intention is what different iterations or what different ideas you have proposed for the same data set. Suppose sometimes even the accuracy is not, even though the accuracy is not good, don't feel bad. Just so these are the things I have done using the data, that will give you the job. At the end, there will be some HR kind of rounds. They will ask like why you are interested for this job. If you say because of money, they won't give you job. Just say, try to create some story like I was so excited about data science and all, and it will be easy. That's all. And if anyone have questions, we can, means I will be happy to answer them.
So, in what way MATLAB will be useful?
Yeah, MATLAB will be like direct prototyping in organizations, right? MATLAB is not a open source one. You need to pay money for that. So people always prefer to go with the open source things. Any other questions?
So actually, while reading the basics like data science, big data, machine learning, so all are like bit confusing. Can you suggest which is the best way to go? I mean, where to start, where to end, the concepts and algorithms, everything is will confusing.
Yeah, actually, this talk is more about high level, but I will explain here. So, the things you have mentioned, right? Big data and all. One second.
Mm.
Yeah, these are the roles. So, for modeling perspective, you need to focus as a data scientist. You have mentioned regression, those kind correlations and all. Those things will be done by data scientists and analysts. For handling huge amount of data, we use Hadoop, and there where data engineers role. We are getting data in a real stream way, and there will be data in from different sources you need to collect for modeling and all. For that, you need to learn what we call Hadoop, Spark, and all those things. Before starting, I would suggest you need to understand which role you want to do. Whether you want to do on modeling or you want to collect data and give those data to data scientists or business analyst or visualizer. First, or researcher. First, you need to fix this once you identify this, then you can you can go in that learning path. In this
Okay, thank you.
talk, I'm only explaining about how to learn data science and data scientist skills, not the other ones.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. 1 second. I will chart here. 1 second. Is it necessary to learn database systems? I'm much interested in field of deep learning research. It is necessary to learn. Yeah. Okay. So for everyone, database system is not required, but you need to learn some basic codings of extracting data from sources like MySQL or non-SQL. For many organizations, data will be populated into databases. As a data, suppose you want to build deep learning models and all, right? In deep learning models, if it is images or text, it will be in form of CSVs or PNG format. But if it is numbers or any other things, right, it will be in databases. For all your modeling, you need to know some basic SQLs like querying data from the what kind of filters you need to apply, different joins. That basic things is enough. Is big data and data science similar or any difference? Yeah. Data when it comes to data science, big data, both will fall into same what we call a tree under artificial intelligence. Data science is mainly about building models and forecasting thing, whereas big data is how to collect the data, meaningful data. Let's say Facebook, right? Every day we are generating a lot of data. Let's say TV cameras are there. uh, every time, let's say in ATMs and all the data was captured, but no one is doing any analysis on that. But what are the smart ways to load the data or store? If someone asks to get some insight, what is the best way to extract? For that, big data or Hadoop role is that. When it's come to modeling, the data science people will ask data engineers like, I want these kind of data from our existing database. Then they will find a way to collect meaningful information data, and that data will be sent to the data scientists, so they will do the modeling. So, and in short, like both will be coming to the data science, but people who are interested in machine learning and deep learning, right, they don't need to learn Hadoop, Spark, those things. That is completely different track. That is only for providing data in a high secure and meaningful way. Yeah. If development knowledge important, development knowledge, yeah, there will be development knowledge is not required in if you want to do data science. What happens is your work is to build models, create that pipeline. Suppose new data is coming, how to give predictions and those things. Development part, now we already have different free source and premium sources. All they will take care. All you need, if you have a proper model, they will take care about the development part. Or most of the organizations have a team who will do all the development part for you. You don't need to learn web pages or app development, anything. Yeah. Okay, I already mentioned like check papers with code or deep AI. What happens is when someone sees your resume, the project has to be very exciting and it has to be very crazy. Don't mention like normal things like Titanic project, sentiment analysis. I have predicted house price for someone. These kind of are normal things. Everyone is doing that. That is the base level. If you mention that, your resume will directly be into hold. Always try to do something which is amazing. For that, you can read research papers. In papers with code or deep AI, you will find different research papers. At the beginning stage, you won't be understanding much, but try to read the same research paper 1, 2 as many times as possible. And in papers with code, in some cases, they will give you the GitHub code also. They will explain like reading research papers how you can implement application. So if you try 1 or 2 things, then you know reading research papers how you can implement them in an easier way. So just take any fancy from there, or you can just think on something what application was not there now, or else you can apply different projects points, different projects, and you can club. Let's say one application, I will say like there is a text project is there and deep learning project, image project is there. Suppose someone written some text, let's say they want to go for some destination or somewhere, and you can extract those information from natural language processing. Like someone want to go to Kodaikanal or somewhere, you can they have written some review on that. You can extract those things and you can populate images with that, or any kind, these kind of things. Combine different projects together, it will make like good project for you, and it will also give you some reasons like entire pipeline you have completed from data pre-processing. You've done some analysis on natural language processing, you've done some processing in deep learning. When you combine this, right, you will get a full freedom of building more applications. Okay, what are the business questions you have raised till now? Yeah, okay, I'll explain that. Do I need to make a complete unique project, or can I okay, fine. Yeah, you can you don't need to build a unique project. As a beginner it will be hard also. You can take existing projects, but one thing you need to mention like what advantage you have done. Suppose someone build some model, it is giving 80% of accuracy. If you also build the same model and you're getting 80% of accuracy, it is no use. Using the same model, you done some fine tuning and you done some iterations, you use new layers or new features, and you have scaled that accuracy to 90%. That you can show where you already using the existing project, but you have increased the accuracy from 80% to 90%. That you can place in your resume. What are the business questions you have raised till now? Yeah, for business it will be completely depend upon the domain we are working. I have worked mainly for the finance and energy domain. In finance, I'll be morely built on borrowing models, like for different customers, how much loan you need to grant, to whom you have grant, or what was the interest rate you have to give, whether they will be default, whether they will be pay loan or not. These kind of models we have built. And do I need to make, okay, fine. Where can I find real world examples which are already done so that I can practice? Yeah, for that you can prefer Kaggle, Analytics Vidya, or else I have given some links like Paper with Code, Deep Learning, AI. There you can find what were the latest trends and research projects were happening.
Hi, Sai.
Yeah, hi.
Okay. Mohan here. Yeah. So I have a question actually.
So recently, we are seeing in the social media like data science course, big data courses everywhere in triple IITs, IITs, wherever. So So what is the importance? Like previously, those courses were not there.
Correct.
Right now, just 6 months back, they have started everything. It looks.
Okay.
So what could be the reason?
Correct. The main reason is it is a budge term data scientist, and the packages the data scientist people are getting are much higher than any other one. Suppose let's say 6 to 8 years of IT guy salary, and when you compare like 2 years of data scientist, his salary is very higher than him, because we already know if something money wise, if you are getting more money somewhere, all the people will try to trend or will go there. That's the main reason. Because of these things, many organizations are saying like if you join in our organization, if you complete some masters with us, you will be easily transformed to the what we call the domain of machine learning. But the transition won't happen in an easier way. The focus has to be more on the technology or domain. NLP or computer vision, which one to choose? Yeah. uh, Computer vision is mainly for deep learning, let's say like video analytics. Now self-driving cars are coming, like just seeing the visuals, we need to predict if human is there or not. Like headlight or traffic lights are there, seeing the red, the car has to be stopped. Why? Because it is self learning, right? All these applications is come under computer vision. You can say like detect someone is appear in your home or not. In ATM, someone is trying to theft or not. These kind of applications, everything is required images or videos, which will fall under computer vision. And the text basis, all your TV tweets, your emails, anything which you are suppose you want to get some insight from text, which is fall under to NLP. The question is which one to choose. It depends upon complete you. Suppose you are more interested in analytics of videos, images. If you are interested in that, you can go with computer vision. For that, you can refer like Pi Image Search. That is a blog. They will clearly explain everything into computer vision. If you're NLP, I will be sharing some resources. You can focus there. It's completely depend upon you, which was interested for you.
So, my question is, whenever I see the companies posting the data science profiles in the LinkedIn or somewhere, right?
Huh.
The profile is always looking for whoever is having experience or whoever have PhD.
Mhm.
So
Huh.
how that experience? Because corporate experience, right? Someone need to give. It's
Mhm.
not the other profile.
Yeah.
So how you say like how can we get the experience in the corporate world? Only through the startups, or can we get opportunities directly in the MNCs without just after completing any degree on the I mean this data science?
Yeah. So in whatever organization you're working, right, in there, there will be some data science stream. So what I would suggest is you learn the things from online completely free, all the algorithms, how to apply and all. Spend time with the people who are in your organization to data science field. Spend with time with them and try to understand what kind of projects they are doing. Talk with more with them. And what happens at that sometime, right? You know what are the resources in your organization itself, what kind of data science problems are solving. So when you're moving for the next organization, you can say like these projects you already aware. These are the things you know. But for that you need to, in skills wise, you have to have those skills. In interviewer, right? They will test you in n number of ways, whether you are cheating or your skills are matching or not. All these things will be tested. But if you have all the skill set, right, that's fine. The next thing is whether how to apply them in real world applications. For that, you can talk with the people who are in the industry. Like suppose I have learned some algorithm, how you will be using these in production, what are the issues you will face. So in interviews they will ask, say suppose you build this algorithm, where it will fail, or else why you are using, for which application. These kind of questions will ask. So first, for learning, you can just don't spend money on anything. Learn completely free from the free sources. But try to spend time with the people who are already in that data science field, and ask all your questions a number of times. Suppose from starting to end, what are the things they will do. Maybe in first 1 or 2 interviews it may be fail, you will fail, but you will know what are the questions they're asking. You can prepare well for the next interviews.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, which one to? Okay, how deep should my theoretical knowledge be? Is it enough to know how to use API? Okay. For getting job, APIs and APIs, those things are not required. And packages also. You need to learn theoretical things are mandatory. Suppose if you mention 10 algorithms in your resume, you need to know all these 10 algorithms in detail. So don't mention all algorithms. Try to give 2 or 3 algorithms and be very strong theoretical aspects of that. When I say theoretical aspect, they will ask like, what are the optimization functions you have used? Why you have used only that optimization function when you have a number of different ways to reduce the losses of the function? All these mathematical things they will ask. It won't be difficult. Just take a pen and paper, take each algorithm and try to answer yourself. Why we have used this algorithm? Google, write that. And again, you will get another question, Google and write. Just prepare 2 to 3 algorithms and learn them properly. And in interviews, whatever the questions they ask, try to get them into these algorithms only. So they will ask more on algorithms you know. Don't mention all algorithms in your resume.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, one more question actually. So, for normal software developers or normal way of working, right? Other than data science, we always expect a output like production deployable component. Okay. For data science, what I hear is right. Even though we need a lot of patience for the output. Is it same, or we always need to expect the output?
Yeah. So for data science projects, if you are into health or finance in those fields, just for the same model, it will take like 5 months to 6 months. The same model, if it is e-commerce or any low risk zones, right, it will take like 1 to 2 months of time. It mainly depend upon the domain. If you're in health or finance domain, you will get ample of time to build models like 5 to 6 months. Sometimes like you build the model in 6 months, you'll test the same model without doing anything for next 6 months. Then only it will go to the production. So there will be a lot of time for production also. Means the same model going to the production level. Or else in other software departments, right? Suppose you build some application. Maybe first you in one month you'll build the application. Next 1 month there will be testing on that, regression testing, and then next it will directly go to the live, maybe websites or anything. But the same thing won't happen in data science field. But it depends upon the domain also. Suppose if it is just in e-commerce, right? Someone is purchasing something and you want to refer them. You purchase t-shirt, so you will purchase pant in. Suppose you purchase a black t-shirt, so you need to purchase a blue jean pant. So these are very simple kind of recommendations. For that, there won't be any time for testing that. On the go itself, it will be calculated.
So, do we have any open source kind of these kind of data? Data science algorithms like we have for other.
Correct. Yeah, we do have.
Like you just told, right? The recommendation engine. So suppose someone buys a black shirt, and the other one is trying. Obviously, other one mostly prefer for the blue jean. That recommendation kind of things, few of the basic ones are available outside, so that we can play.
Correct. We can try. For recommendation, you will have data sets from different areas. Like you will get movie reviews and movie ratings, and based on that, you need to suggest someone like which movie they will like. Like for the same user, you will get all what are the ratings they have given, what are the reviews they have right. This is like movie recommendation, and you will have like what books they will read. All the recommendation open source data sets we have. Even Amazon also open source their reviews.
Not the data science algorithms, I think, not the data sets.
So, for algorithm implementation, right? You don't need to build anything from scratch.
Okay.
You have all the libraries. Same like suppose if you're what can I say? Maybe anything. There will be some libraries for any algorithm. But the thing is, you need to know how to tune those parameters. Those things will come with expert, and for that you need to iterate the models. You don't need to worry about implementing algorithms. Everything was free and open source. All you need to use for which data set, what kind of algorithms you need to use. That's it.
And data science, Python is only the option, or do you
If,
have any new
if you're
technology?
starting new, I would suggest go with Python. If you know R, you can go with R. But my suggestion is always go with Python. Why? Because all the applications in, let's say with R, right, you cannot build a website in a quicker way. With Python, you can do. Suppose modeling, data science modeling is happened in Python, so it is very easy for to build a website with Python and integrate them. That's why most people will prefer Python. If you're starting new, start with Python. If you know R, go with. And the other question is, we can transfer learning. Okay. Okay, yeah. Transfer learning is the other category. Like one is we have data and you will train models on the data. But transfer learning means already inbuilt models are already there, which was trained. Some examples like suppose if you given any image, you want to detect what was there in that image. For that, one approach could be like you can take all the images and you can train your own model. But using transformers, they're already pre-built with higher high-end applications like Google TensorFlow and all. All you need to give models, sorry, image, and it will detect what was there. I'm in data. I'm interested in data, but I have never learned basics of. Okay. If you're interested in deep learning, right, the first thing is try to learn ML algorithms. You already mentioned random forest algorithm, SVM, all those things. These things will helpful in understanding concepts of deep learning. You can straight away go to learn deep learning, that's fine, but the time you need, it will the time you took the time it will take to learn deep learning algorithms will be very higher if you don't know the basics of ML algorithms. That's fine. Okay.
So one more question from my side.
Yeah.
So actually, when you're in BTech, so there is no course related to big data or data science, I guess. So now also in our college, data analytics course is there. But so what do you suggest? Like, should data science be the one of the core subjects for all branches, or only for CSC branch? Is that very much needed as a core subject? So what do you suggest?
For means in educate, I guess like we have like data science things, but it was not mentioned as data science. We have like deep learning or data mining course when we are doing, and we have like pattern recognition, artificial intelligence. These courses are already there. These are basically electives. I think most of the people won't prefer electives because we won't get good marks in that when we have like other electives. But try to select these electives. And these are things we already learned. So for me, right, what are the things I know? All the algorithms I have learned in college itself, but I don't know how to apply them in real world cases. But algorithms wise, we are already aware of like decision trees, logistic regression. All these concepts were covered in a course called data mining course. But we don't have any exposure like how to implement them in Python at that time. We only know the theoretical knowledge. And the
So
other
what do you suggest?
is it
Do
only
we need to have one of the core subjects in computer science department as a
yeah,
data science as a core subject?
I would prefer, yeah, it will be good if we include data science as a mandatory thing for means in CS. Why? Because if you take all the applications now are trying to emerge into the data science itself, so it will be very huge advantage for the people, to the people who are into third year or fourth year. Means in those years, they know what are the things were happening. Means different algorithms they can know if you mandatory the course. If you keep them as electives, right, they won't prefer. Most of the people won't prefer. Yeah, once people learn and they know the applications, they won't leave the data science field. They will always learn. That's the huge advantage of DS. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. In this, okay, I got one more chat question. As a student, what should my goal be get or to learn? Yeah. For that, I can say like don't deviate from anything. If you are a GATE aspirant, focus on GATE. If you're a data science aspirant, go for data science. Don't combine both. That you have to fix whether you want to be GATE aspirant and join in IITs, or you want to do data science. But I will give a small example how it is different. Suppose at the end, right, everything is matters it how much money you are earning. You do GATE and you complete 2 years of in IITs, and you join a company, and you learn data science. You done something in, you join in data science, data as a data scientist. You have 2 to 3 years of experience. Salaries wise, both are equal. That's it. So that you have to determine. Suppose your dream is to join in IITs, then don't learn data science. Focus on GATE. Prepare all the CS concepts and crack IIT and join IIT. That's up to you. Yeah, I think it's answer your question. Yeah, data science, it's not about computer science only. Why? Because it's not like proper data structures, algorithms, those things, right? It's more about mathematical things, algebra. You need to know matrix probabilities. These are common for any field, right? In E1 we will be doing this. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. 1 second. How do you update how to be updated in data science field? Yeah, just follow the recent recent trends. So suppose you learn TensorFlow 1, like you need to just follow. There will be TensorFlow 2 also will come. So always try to use your learnings of TensorFlow 1 and go to the TensorFlow 2. Okay, fine. Okay. In future, if you have any questions, you just search data aspirant in Google, so you will know how to reach me there. Okay. Yeah. That's all. Over to you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful session, Madhu.
Yeah.
It's very much necessary for all the engineering students of our university. Thanks a lot for this.
Yeah, thank you.